Chamaco, le dejo 80 millas a su
La Pepsi me tiene las cosas casi ya
Porque es lo que pasa cuando se bebe el Pepsi Cola, le va a subir la azúcar en la sangre. Cuando bebe el café te da energía.
Exacto. Así es, Chamaco. Ahí está.
My name is Johnny Torres, and I am the General Advisor of Save Latin America and Programs Director. It's indeed a very great honor to have all of you here today. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Save Latin America, I'd like to welcome all of you to this gathering of friends, to this gathering of community leaders. And we appreciate the initiative of the United States Army to sponsor this dinner and this gathering of Hispanic leaders. I'd like to ask the representative from the Army to stand up, and let's give them a big, big hand. A big hand, stronger. Thank you. Did you know that the United States Army have an unlimited amount of funds for those young men and women who meet qualifications such as having a high school diploma and scoring over 50 or above on the Armed Services Vocational Attitude Battery? Well, the purpose of this meeting is to familiarize you with the Army's education program and how the youngsters, our youngsters, could benefit from it. I would like to invite to the podium Captain Anderson. Please help me welcome Captain Anderson.
I just want to say thank you for the warm welcome and giving us the opportunity to talk to you. Anytime we get the opportunity to talk to people and tell them about the program, we're happy to do that. And it's good to see everyone come out today. And we're going to try to tell you about all the programs that Army has to offer to a lot of people out there that really don't understand what we do have to offer. It's a misconception about the military that we want to put away. And hopefully after you hear our presentation, you'll have a better understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Let's hear it very strong with the Captain. Many years ago, a young lad came here from, because what's happening here tonight is in essence his dream becoming a reality. Please welcome the Chairman, Founder of Save Latin America, Mr. Antonio Ibarri. not strong enough. Let's hear hard for the chairman.
Thank you, Ronnie. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy that you accept my invitation to dine tonight. With the officials of the United States Army, we are working together to provide information that will be benefit to the Spanish young population. As a founder of Save Latin America, an organization whose mission is to provide better access to information I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous, I don't know why. Maybe because maybe I see so many, An organization whose mission is to provide better access to information and service and opportunity for growth available to Spanish in this great country. I am delighted to team up with U.S. Army to reach out and inform the Spanish community about the program and benefit it offers to the young people. It's no secret that many Spanish youngsters are not made to college because a finance reason do not have the grades or because they are not interested in going to college. We can understand that with that. The same part is the army and auction for any case. But our Spanish young do not take advantage of it. Why? Because they are not well informed. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to send 2 more invitations to you to take mental note of what the Army office told us tonight. And then number 2.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When I was a child in Puerto Rico, I've always heard my father say, to be a soldier of the American Army is a career like any other. And that stuck in my mind all these years. And it seems to me that what my father used to say many years ago, tonight we're going to hear from people from the Army. That's why the chairman says, pay close attention to what the Army officers have to tell you tonight. And take mental notes, because this beautiful group of ladies and gentlemen, this beautiful group of human beings have a very special message for us tonight, dealing with education. And education is one of the things that concern our chairman, Ibarria, and it concerned Save Latin America. For those who are not yet very well familiarized with Save Latin America, let me paint a very quick picture of what is Save Latin America and how it works. Save Latin America is a civic organization whose mission is to provide better access of information to our Hispanic community about the services and the many growth opportunities that exist in this country, that exist for Hispanics and for every resident of this country. Save Latin America then function through various commissions. Commission number one is a health commission. There is a need for our people to understand that there are problems out there at no cost to them. That they could go into hospitals and healthcare organizations and have all kinds of medical exams at no cost. They don't know that. Save Latin America then did form a commission that we call Health Commission. And as a matter of fact, tonight we have here good Dr. Torrens, who is a member of that organization, of that commission. And we also have Patricia Zuriza, who is a member of that commission. And we have done 3, and we are working on the 4th. Health, we call them Family Health Festival. The last one, we screened close to 1,000 people. Comes April the 28th, we are organizing our first and largest health fair. We are organizing a massive voters registration in this state. And under the same program, we are going to be going after those Hispanics that are registered to vote but don't vote. Then we have another commission, Industry and Commerce. Industry and Commerce is very concerned with the many problems of our business communities at all levels, be it the retail. Now, I'm very proud to bring the education schools special ed functions from the Army. Her name, Sally Devine. Let's give Ms. Devine a big hand.
Hello, I'm very happy to speak with this group tonight. And I will explain why. It's going to be such a pleasure explaining to you what a joy it's been working in Army education for nearly 20 years. Currently, I am with the New York City Recruiting Battalion. First of all, to give you a little bit more background, I'm from the Seattle area, where I grew up in a Navy family, and my inspiration in life was to become a federal civil servant, which I am. I work for the United States government as a federal employee with the Department of Defense. I happen to work with the Department of the Army. The reason I work for the Department of the Army is because after 8 years of working as a counselor in the welfare system in Seattle, Washington, in downtown, the inner city of Seattle, I heard about an opportunity to work as a guidance counselor with the Army. At first, I wasn't quite sure that's what I wanted to do because, like I said, I grew up in a Navy family in the Navy, on the water. But I went off to Germany. I started off in the Hanau community, Fliegerhorst, and my supervisor kept telling me, this is not just a federal civil service career, this is not just a job, this is not a career, this is taking care of soldiers. Pacific, and then I went to Texas and I took courses at Central Texas College and so on and so forth. And every soldier has an Army education counselor, and our job is, and they love to see a civilian face, so they love to come to the education center to talk to civilians. And we sit down with them when we look at their transcripts, and if they don't have their transcripts, we help them get them. And then we sit down and show them how they can put all their credits together with one particular school. It will usually be the school that they have the most credits with, but they may choose to change schools. That's their choice. But in this soldiers' Opportunity College Agreement, which I mentioned earlier, the SOCAD agreement, the schools also, all 1,500 schools have agreed to transfer the credits freely among themselves. Another thing that I want to mention, since Mr. Torres mentioned grades and how some people have had bad experiences in school in the past, what was wonderful is if they would come into the education center and they would be embarrassed about they dropped out of college or they have bad grades, well, the wonderful news to tell them is that the college is on the installations. Let them sign up for classes without submitting any transcripts, without submitting any bad news. They can just go in and if they're going to take English or math, they'll have to take a placement test for English or math. But if they want to sign up for Introduction to Computers or some other course, they can just sign up. And then there's something wonderful called tuition assistance. This is separate from their GI Bill. A lot of the soldiers at first don't understand either because they think it has something to do with the GI Bill. But the GI Bill comes from the Veterans Administration, and tuition assistance comes from the Army. So the wonderful news is that there's two pots of money going towards soldiers from the government. One is with the Veteran Affairs, and the other is the Army's own education funds, which is the tuition assistance. So the tuition assistance will pay for 75% of their tuition. And then when they serve 2 years, the Veterans Administration, under the Montgomery GI Bill, will pay the balance, which is now, it's a brand new program started in 2001 last year. It's called the Top-Up Program. That means they submit their paperwork to the Veterans Administration showing that this is how much the course costs and this is how much they got from tuition assistance. And the Veterans Administration will pay the balance of the course. So really they're getting 100% of their course paid for. And that does not touch their GI Bill, except there's been some talk about, okay, a percentage of their GI Bill might be affected by the top-up, but it's a very small amount. I believe Captain Anderson is going to speak more about military benefits, including the Montgomery GI Bill, later on this evening. One of the things he wanted me to mention, though, is something called the CONAP program. And I do have a brochure. Now, this is something separate from what I'm talking about, from Army education. The CONAP program, that stands for Concurrent Admissions Program. And what this does is when a soldier, or when an applicant, a recruit, is first signing up for the Army, when they're with their recruiter, they can pick a college, one of these colleges that has such they're usually SOCAD schools. Some of them might not be, but they're usually SOCAD schools. They can pick one of these schools to apply for it when they're joining the Army. This is an intent to enroll when they get out of the Army. So they can get their feet planted with the school back home. It's a little difficult to explain, but in this part of New Jersey, there's 11 or 12 colleges, and I brought the list with me, but just to name a couple of them, this New Jersey City University and St. Peter's College. They are CONAP schools, where a person from this area can fill out an intent to enroll with that school. They may go off to Fort Hood or Fort Jackson or some other place, and when they come back home, when they get out of the Army, they already have a connection with the school that they have chosen before they join the Army. The advantage there's advantages on both sides, to the school and to the soldier. The advantage to the school is when they get the CONAP enrollment form, it says right on there, the one I looked at today said, this soldier will get $40,000 for education. So when the school gets his application for admissions, they also know how much money that soldier's going to have for tuition. The advantage to the soldier is that he may have found some resistance, for example, from important people in his life. Maybe his school counselor wants him to go directly to college, or his parents or his grandparents or whoever, and he can show them, well, look, I'm not only joining the Army, but I am signing up for college at the same time. So, what I'm saying is that joining the Army and going to college is something you can do at the same time. It's not a choice, one or the other. Okay, so I guess my time is up. I'm used to talking an hour about education. I love to talk education, but I just want you to know that it's the young people that I've served that have kept me happy in my work, and they're such an inspiration, and I recommend Army education for all your young people.
Thank you, thank you. Well, it doesn't sound like the Army anymore, does it? Before I bring in the next guest, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the representative of one of our congressmen, Steve Rothman. Let's give a big hand to Bernard Wilson, representing Congressman of State. Let me also acknowledge a member of the Board of Education from Union City, Mr. Tilo Rivas and his lovely wife. And of course, we also have in the audience a very dear friend, George Amilcar Velez from Newark. George. And to put everything in perspective, Sergeant Diaz, recruiter interview, overview. Let's give a big hand to Sergeant Diaz. A young lad with the experience of an old man.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sergeant First Class Diaz. I'm the station commander for the West New York Recruiting Station, located at 60. A little bit of information about myself. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I come from a family of 5 males, and approximately about 3 of us entered the military service. And I've been serving my country for the past 11 years. And before joining the Army, I attended and achieved a bachelor's in business administration from Pace University, Manhattan campus. I joined the Army for 2 reasons. 1, to serve my country, and 2, to have my student loans paid off. And as some of us know, those loans can be a heavy financial burden to a newly graduated individual. I continue to serve my country well past the last loan payment, which was in 1994. So it goes to show you that even back then, I had the opportunity to do my 3 years and get out. In 1995, I was being recruited by the FBI, but I felt that in my heart I should stay in the Army because that's how much love I have for the Army. Just to give a little bit overview of some of my other family members, I have a brother who's about ready to retire from the military, and he's put 20 years in.
A hindrance to anything that I've ever wanted to do. In fact, what I consider it having done for me is accelerated all the hopes and all the dreams that I had into making them an actual reality for me. Where I came from, I never would have had the opportunities that I had to go to Europe, to actually study in Europe, which is every college kid's dream, you know, to be able to go to school and actually study over in Europe. The Army helped me do that. And I look forward to, you know, getting out in the community, speaking with you, helping you in any way I can. You know, everyone's going to get our business cards tonight. Anything you ever need from us, anything I can do for any of you, feel free. Just give me a call. It'll be my pleasure. Thank you.
The next member of the team is Staff Sergeant Medina. Sergeant Medina. He represents Palisades Park High School, Richfield Memorial High School, and St. Joseph of Palisades High School. Sergeant Medina.
What I would like to say is the classical example of that Latino kid who couldn't make it on his own because I had 8 brothers and sisters. My mom was the only one raising us. So me and my brother decided, hey, what the heck, let's give the Army a chance. 10 years have passed by, and I'm about that close to finishing my bachelor's degree. Married, got 3 kids, and I love it, you know. This is great. I got out in '97 just to see the world, like I said, because I wanted to be a civilian. But honestly, I couldn't make it. And 2 years passed by, I say, hey, the Army is my family, I'm coming back. And I'm here for the duration until the Army says you're too old, get out. get up. So I know where the majority of our kids today are going through. College is hard and it's very expensive. We will provide the way for them to become somebody, to, like I say to the kids, to use the Army as a stepping stone to reach their goal. And I say again, I'm happy that I am.
Let me tell you a little something about Sergeant Medina. He put a young lady in the Army today from Memorial High School. About a week ago, I asked the young lady, I said, Jennifer, and he covers the whole zone, everywhere from Fort Lee down to Jersey City.
I've been in the Army 22 years and I love it. Why I love it? I grew up in New York City, Lower East Side, in the ghetto, okay? Mom and Dad got divorced, there was 3 of us. I worked, plus did chores while Mommy did 2 jobs to raise the 3 of us. It was hard, but you know what? You don't fall down, you stand up and move. Well, that's what I try to tell all the students that I talk to, and the young adults. I'm not here to take you out of school. Everybody saw that man standing outside when you walked in here, right? He's got a helmet on, he's got his weapon. Well, that's what everybody thinks about us. It's not true. The Army has a new program, it's called TEAMS. Training, education, adventure, and money. And that's what we do for the young adults. We let you know that you can get a career and at the same time get an education. Therefore, you don't have to work in a restaurant cleaning dishes like I had to do. You can actually go work in a dental office or a hospital. Okay? My job is to help you and help the kids. You got my card, it's in the bag you'll get when you leave here. My phone is always on, and I speak to everybody. I love to talk. Thank you. Thank you.
What I'd like to say is, you know, as recruiters, we talk to a lot of people every day. I mean, we're constantly in the street, talking to people, merchants, and I kind of thought about this for a while. I kind of expect something from this audience, okay? When you go out there tomorrow and you talk to somebody who's young and he needs money for college or he needs to get some kind of training or he's not employed, tell them that the next time they see an Army recruiter walking down Bergen Line Avenue or Kennedy Boulevard, tell them to approach that guy. Tell them to approach that recruiter and ask that recruiter, Sergeant, how can I get $50,000 for college? Sergeant, how can I help my family? Sergeant, how can I get
For Sergeant Diaz. That is very interesting because Sergeant Diaz just told you what he expects of his audience. I'd like to tell Sergeant Diaz what I expect of him and his people. I expect to invite them to come and talk to our kids throughout the state. Is that a challenge?
Yeah, got it.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to now bring the person who has been working together with us to put this end. I'd like to invite Captain Anderson to the podium. Let's give him a big hand.
Okay, it's good to be back up here. I was just told by Sergeant Major back there, hey, you gotta make sure you keep it short. We gotta get out of here. You know, you've been here too long, so we're gonna have a condensed version, but we're gonna do it right for you. I'm gonna tell you my story. First of all, I want to introduce the battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Piper, who's in charge of the company. But this is Colonel Piper. He's in charge of New York City Recruiter Battalion. At this time, give him a few minutes to say something if you like.
Sure. Thank you very much for having us here. It's a great honor to be amongst all of you. We understand that everybody's taking up What could be your off time could be time with your family for a very important event and for a very good reason. The Saving Latin America organization is something that great Americans are striving for. This is something you don't see every day. This is people that are giving up their free time to make their organization, their area much better. And I'm just proud to be part of it, and for allowing the Army to be part of your organization. I didn't have many options. I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to travel. And I really didn't have many opportunities except to join the military and do that. So at 17, I joined the Army. 26 years later, I'm still here. Only I'm no longer a private, I'm a lieutenant colonel. And so when you look at your young men and women out there, there's lots of opportunities for them. I'm living proof of that. Captain Anderson also is living proof. We started at the bottom, we worked our way up. And like anything else, it's worth achieving, it's worth working for. And again, everything Sally said about the education, that's where I got my start. I started college as a young man in Germany, got my credits, continued on, got my bachelor's degree, and went to Oxford Candidate School. So the opportunities that you had, not just to study history, but to live history, again, I'm not that old, but I've seen a lot of it happen. I've seen a lot of changes to the history books and participated in a lot of those changes.
Look, I cannot tell you how impressed the commander and I were when we met them. They have the traits that the Army is looking for: respect, loyalty, commitment, duty, dedication, and that they have a little piece of the world that they're trying to surround and get their arms around, and hopefully they won't die on us trying to do that. I mean, because they got their heart in it. I mean, they are, you should have the chance that we had to be in their office and listen to them speak with such love, such candor, such fervor about what they do and what they want. So I just couldn't get up here tonight. I'm going to tell you is that the United States Army is made of many, many people. Many, many people. And Latin Americans are a great part. They are a great heritage. They are a great tradition in the United States Army. Just coming in this evening, off a spin of a conversation, we started talking about the 65th Infantry. Of course, everyone who's from Puerto Rico knows a little bit about the 65th Infantry. Highly decorated unit, fought fiercely in one of our combats, and for the longest time went by unrecognized. So now the Association of the United States Army and many other organizations are trying to recognize that unit. They happen to be trying to do the same thing. We're going to get together and work on stuff like that. But the reason why we need to talk to you is because you are the influencers of our youth. You are the credible ones. We can get in front of them and talk to them until we're blue, but you are the one that impacts their lives. When they have problems with the heart, they go to you. When they have problems with education, they go to you. When they have problems, sometimes they get off the right track, they go see our members of the law enforcement. When they need a job, they go to you guys. And we need you guys and gentlemen and ladies to keep us in mind. Yes, the Army is tough. Some of the guys got up here, and the Army's a good place, the Army's a lot of fun, there's a lot of benefits, but the Army is tough. I've been doing it 26 years. I can tell you, it is very demanding. It is very tough. But it will give a lot back. It's like anything else you do. If you work, I can think of my great-grandfather in Ponce, Puerto Rico, working the sugarcane field. And he was in charge of the whole thing, and he lived up on a mountain. And as a little boy, I loved going to see him. Well, before anybody was up in the morning, he was already out in the field turning the water on. And when everybody was already back, he was still out there taking care of business. So if you want something to move forward, you have to work hard. And that is what the Army is all about. It's about making a commitment, keeping your word, working hard. The Army can do things for you. So what we need is, we need the leaders of the community to support the Army. We need you to give us access to your youth. We need you to encourage your youth to experience the military. And oh, by the way, I won't be so narrow as to just say, experience the Army. I will tell you that all branches of the military are good. All branches of the military, we are in this together. As you, ladies and gentlemen, see, when our country is in time of need, there's several organizations that have to go. And God bless those sailors, those airmen, and those Marines. God knows we need them too. We can help you with the Army. We can tell you about the Army. But consider that as an option, and don't make it the last option. Because the sad thing about everything in my job is when that young woman or young man comes and they want to go into the Army, but their options are expired. They've gotten in too much trouble with the law. They can't pass the entrance exam. They can't, for one reason or another, they become disqualified. And it's usually because they've waited too long. So keep us in mind, and I'm certain that we're going to accept Mr. Torres's invitation to speak to the youth. We're committed, the United States Army is committed to becoming a part of the civilian community, and we've established this partnership, and we're going to see it through. We're going to work with you, and you're going to work with us, and we're going to get to know each other well, and great things are going to happen. And hopefully, the next Secretary of the Army, like Luis Caldera, hopefully the next Secretary of the Army in 20 years from now will come from Newark, New Jersey.
Yes.
Hey, Howard.
Thank you, Sergeant David. And I'm going to try to talk to you and tell you a little bit about myself, tell you my stories. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah. All right, because everybody got a story, and I got a story. And it's a pretty good story, because I really believe in the military. Tell you a little bit about my background real quick. When I was 2 years old, my father was killed. So I grew up without a father. I never had a father figure, didn't really understand what you needed with a father, because I never had one. So went to high school, didn't like high school, I dropped out of high school, said I don't need high school. So basically, something we don't like it to me. I said, yes, Drill Sergeant, where you want me to go, where you want me to move? I've been waiting on this all my life, give it to me, it make me feel good. I want it, I need it, I gotta have it. So I realized, this is good stuff here. Now, this is a father figure I never had. Now I got it. Tell me what you want me to do. He said, first thing I need you to do is get an education, because you need one. If you plan on going far in the military, you gotta have education. So what I did, quickly went back, got my high school diploma. Pretty good, huh? Yes, come on, good. From all walks of life. All walks of life, how to those Army values. Okay? I already talked about the COINAP program. Okay. All right, these are some of the ways we can help, okay? Bottom line, you heard that thing about college. 1.8 million to the surrounding counties for the kids going to college. That's a lot of money. And again, that's an unlimited amount of money that's out there if the personnel qualifies for it. Pay and entitlement, we have a lot of that to give. The young soldier coming in makes a lot of money. All right, volunteer services. What we can do is go into the high school, help out the teachers. I'm currently, right now, helping out Irvington High School, going in there, teaching some of the classes, and giving some of the instructors an opportunity to take breaks, but also give us the opportunity to get in there with the kids. So we can do that. The recruits are doing the same thing, going to different high schools, helping out, volunteering their time and everything. If you got a question Okay, so continue on. Okay. All right, demonstration team, what we can do is come down. How many person ever heard of the Golden Knights before? Come on, somebody heard of the Golden Knights, right? Golden Knights, all right? Basically what they do, come and help us recruit. They have a program where you can, what they call sun up, sun down, where you can be selected, go with the Golden Knights, do the training with them, and jump out of the plane with them and land, and hopefully you're okay, if you get selected, all right? But we do have that program, they can come down. All right, it's a pretty good program, right, Jeff? I think so too. All right, we also can be looked upon as special event guest speakers. You know, if you need somebody to go to your high school or just talk to someone, you can contact us and we'll go and do that for you. Because again, we believe in that and we want to do it. At any given time, we have different types of programs, skills, and education that we can allow the administrators to look at and help them out in different areas. All right, this is very, very important. Your military entry process and station visit. When you go to Fort Hamilton, New York, and go through the process that young applicants will go through before they come to the military, where they have to take the test to get into the military. Also, when they have a physical, you can look at that. And all you have to do is contact one of the recruiters and say, hey, yes, I want to go. I know I got somebody at this table right now saying, yes, I want to go, right? Come on, yes, yes, yes. There you go. I know you want to go. So good. All you have to
Diploma. Because what that tells the Army is, if they stay in school and finish a high school diploma, guess what? They'll come in the Army and they'll finish 4-year enlistment. That's why we look for that high school diploma. That's what it means to us. The person has the guts to stick with it.
Okay, no problem. Talk a little bit about the critical skill. When you talk about the critical skill, one of those skills is infantry. And some people that really don't know about infantry gonna say, no, I don't want my kid to go to infantry. Well, I can tell you what, that's probably one of the best skills out there because the majority of the kids that graduate from the academy, that's their first priority is infantry. Because I came in here, I had to calm down with it. I came down here and I saw this young lady, very nice young lady, so I'm up there talking, kind of shy. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and just talk. All right. Now, the good thing about being in the military is, hey, I can't lie, the pay is pretty good. You know, the pay is real good. Currently right now, like I said, been in the military 18 years and making roughly about $75,000 a year. That's pretty good for me. You know, partnership with education, what we're trying to do right here and now. This is what we need to do. Give us the opportunity to tell our story. I know sometimes the story grows a little bit like fishing, but hey, we have to tell you, right? Okay. I'm not going to talk about the ASVAB testing, which Major Zoo would normally talk about it, and I don't want to take it apart, but it's very important. We're now part of the Army team. This is an organization that works together at all times. We talk about loyalty, duty, respect, respecting yourself, respecting your subordinates, respecting your superiors. Talk about selfless service, doing a good deal for the nation, for the Army, and for the people you work for. Army, live up to the Army values, very important. Integrity, doing the right thing, and personal courage. Okay? Good. All right. After all that, you want that soldier to come in, this is what you can get. A mature, a disciplined type soldier. Be structured, responsible, honorable, respectable, and all of those things. Guaranteed. You come in, go to basic training, once he or she come out, you see a totally different person. All right, basically I just gave you a condensed version of the Army benefits. Do you have any questions for me? Anything? Yeah, Liz. Look, the contract. Somebody got a contract? Ain't just. You want that job?
Captain Anderson, can I address that for a minute?
Yes.
Having 4 years of experience in recruiting, I can tell you that the way it breaks down, ma'am, is that approximately 20% of the jobs in the Army are combat related. 80% support that 20%. For example, my brother's a nurse practitioner in the Army. Okay, my other brother, he's in administration in the Army. I've put approximately 60 people in the Army, everywhere from people that work in front of a computer all the way to an operating room technician. So yes, the fact is that that's the Army's job is war, but only 20% of those jobs are combat-related jobs.
All right, so the new message will be that there's more than what you see in the Army, not just a weapon, but opportunities to get a job.
Yes, and I'll give you an example. Sergeant Medina put a young man in the Army last month. His job in the Army is a veterinary food inspection. The Army buys a large bulk of dairy products, meat products, and everything. His job in the Army is to go to these Armorer meat packing plant and inspect the meat that the meat buys and then seal off on it that says, this is a good quality that the Army can purchase. Okay? I put a young man in the Army who wanted to go into the communications field. Okay? His job in the Army is a microwave technician. So when he gets out of the Army, and his certificate from the advanced individual training is not given by the Army. It's given by what was then GT Mobile, whatever it is now. It's civilian contractors that are teaching him these skills. The reason he wanted to do it, so when he got out of the Army, he can walk right into a job with either MCI, AT&T, or whoever. So yes, there are various skills in the Army, but only 20% of those are combat related.
One more. Yes, sir.
The percentage of women in the Army?
I think percentage is roughly about 25%, somewhere between 25 and 30%. It's constantly growing every day. Yes.
I served in the U.S. Army for 10 years.
Okay.
My MOS in the Army was an 11 Bravo DI. I was an infantry drill instructor.
Good.
And I want people to know that I got 6 years of college out of the U.S. Army. Doesn't mean because I was an infantryman I didn't get a college education. And I have a bachelor's degree in marketing and management. So it doesn't mean that because you're in the infantry you can't get a 4-year college degree.
That's true, because the Army got a lot of programs, and one program the Army is working with now is what they call online university, where the Army would get a laptop, a computer to the soldier, also a printer, and give them access to the internet, and those soldiers can go there and do their classes online and get a degree. So there's a variety of ways you can go to school. So thank you, sir, for saying that. All right, now if you don't have another question for me.
Yes, you have one.
Oh, one more. Hold it. Okay.
Okay, I heard you before that if they don't have a GED, you don't want them. No, I'm a little confused. You have a GED program, that means you help them apply
No,
the
they really
GED?
have to, they go back, get their GED, and every opportunity we have some slots open, then they can come in.
Okay, so they have to get their GED on their own. You have a program to help them.
And how many percentage did you set the GD?
Discussed a little bit about what the Army benefits has.
not acquainted with. Let me tell you, everything that we do in Save Latin America has a purpose. And the purpose is always to help our community. And definitely this is one of the greatest programs that we could use to help our community, because as I stated before, we're dealing with our leaders of tomorrow. Before we close, I'd like to recognize a couple of people. I'd like to recognize Dr. Jose Tirado, who's a school principal in Passaic, a member of our Commission of Education. I'd like to recognize somebody that somehow always bring coffee to most of our activities. The people from Café Bustelos, represented today by Mr. Santiago Perez. I just heard that Mr. Rosado, from the president from the Chamber of Commerce, and in closing, I like to mention that in Save Latin America, we all do a lot of things to do, but it seems like every one of us do have a specialty. I talk a lot, simply because they don't let me talk at home.
I figured something like that.
The chairman gives a lot of orders, even if he doesn't know what the orders are all about. But he's the chairman and he has to give the orders. But Israel Romero, el ciudadano del mundo, we organize, we plan the activities, and somehow Israel Romero brings the people in. He's got his specialty, he's got this special talent. Yo le llamo el poder de convocatoria. Let's give Mr. Romero a Finally, I'd like to mention a young lady who's also very helpful to us. Every time we call her, she's there to help us. Gina Jaramillo, who's the chief staff of Councilman at Large, and Mariano Vega from Jersey City. There are a couple of people that are here tonight that Romero wants to mention, but before he does that, let's give him a big, big hand.
Yo de la experiencia, I'm sorry, Lieutenant Colonel, because I don't speak too much English. That's
fine.
It's my broken English. Tonight is a very special day to me because I have to wonderful opinion about the Army. I remember September 11, the Army, they respond to the United States. And that's it, never forgot, because the Army, they fight in Europe for the freedom. They fight in Asia for the freedom, all around the world. And these people, they fight in Vietnam, they fight in Korea, and they have wonderful surprise to me when the sergeant, I don't see here, the sergeant, they explained to me before, one of the sergeants they spoke, they have the special picture about the infantry group they fighting in Korea, 65, the Puerto Rican people. That is a wonderful, because they put the number of the Spanish and the Army of the United States. I never forgot that. I'm trying to introduce this young lady. This is the president to the Peruvian Pareja, and the husband, Pilar Rivera. The community that's put together. Here you saw people from Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Cuba, Santo Domingo, Puerto Rican, Honduras, and the other one, that's my young baby, because I worked a long time with her and his mother. Janet is from Honduras, and she working from North
noticias del mundo, the newspaper, they cover tonight, but the newspaper is coming together. The old man, Tony, they want to try to say, one of the guys together with Colonel, that's Tilo Rivas. Tilo is a long time, I don't say the year, because that's not good. Tilo and me, they've been involved, and they've been involved to the army when the people they fight in El Salvador, he was with the army in El Salvador, General Jaime Gutierrez. They're working close together to the American Special Group they training in El Salvador against to the company. You don't remember the situation in El Salvador and Guatemala with the guerrilla. Tilo, they was over there. It was Colonel Domingo Monterrosa and the American group. They work in the embassy in El Salvador. I'll be there and Tilo, they was too. Let me say 1 minute, 2 or 3 only en Spanish. Esta noche es grande y hermosa, porque tu Sei Latinoamérica demuestra para lo que hemos sido creados para crear conciencia dentro de los hispanos. Y uno de los baluartes grandes de esta gran nación es el ejército y la Fuerza Armada. Hombres que han puesto su vida por defender la democracia que nosotros hoy disfrutamos. Eso es inmenso y grande, un valor inmenso de dar la vida por defender los derechos individuales democráticos que nosotros gozamos en este país y que estos hombres salen por ultramar a dar su vida para defender esta democracia. Eso es inmenso, no hay con qué pagarlo. Que de la experiencia bella y hermosa que he tenido, me dieron una sorpresa de algo que tenemos. Johnny y yo, se vamos a decir al chairman, nos lo prometió el sargento, vamos a tener la película del Regimiento 65 de Infantería, que puso el nombre de la hispanidad, los puertorriqueños, cubanos, hispanos que pelearon allí en Corea defendiendo esta democracia. Y en la historia de la Fuerza Armada de este país es imposible olvidar el legado histórico que esos hombres dieron, que dieron su vida, su corazón y su alma por mantener activa la bandera de los Estados Unidos, la bandera de la democracia. Ellos nos han prometido que nos van a hacer llegar, allá está el sargento sentado, allá viene, que fue el que nos prometió que va a traernos la película esa en recuerdo a los hombres del Batallón 65 Infantería. Y yo, independientemente como soy uno de los directivos de Sei Latinoamérica y ahora presidente de la Hispanidad, que se va a celebrar el día 6 de octubre, le digo al teniente coronel que en esa actividad nuestra, donde la Hispanidad tiene la parada grande y hermosa de todos los países hispanos junto con los estadounidenses, vamos a rendirle honor como lo hicimos en octubre pasado, que le dedicamos el desfile, y se lo dije al capitán Anderson, a las Fuerzas Armadas que estaban allí, nosotros honrando a los hombres que habían puesto tan grande el nombre de Estados Unidos. Y esta vez le digo que voy a proponer que la parada sea dedicada a la memoria al Regimiento 65 de Infantería. Todos los hispanos que estamos aquí agradecidos a esta gran nación por la que la sentimos la verdadera integración y por la que queremos y por la que estamos dispuestos, como yo decía a mi hermano John León hace unos minutos cuando veía a estos jóvenes hablando de la grandeza y del valor y la dignidad y los principios de la Fuerza Armada. Yo le decía, John, ya yo estoy un poco viejo, 66 años, pero cuando me toca en este país, esta democracia, yo también iría de voluntario a defender este país y a defender la democracia